Okay, UFC 312. I wanted to get into some of the bets that we're going to have. This is going to be an interesting card, and I have a specific strategy I want to go with on this card, mainly due to the fact that there's a lot of new fighters or fighters that we don't know enough about them to feel confident in some of the metrics. So every bet that I place, I'm running off of metrics, and you'll see here on the Fight Matrix page, I use them a lot because they have very good advanced analytics, which kind of break through the eyeball test that everyone sort of uses, and gives you the true information. However, that's a double-edged sword. Sometimes there's just not enough information. So, for instance, Kobe Thickness is projected far over Alexandra Topuria due to the ratings. However, the eyeball test says Topuria is better, and the line has skyrocketed. So there's sometimes where I am going to take that into consideration, sometimes not. So if there's multiple fights for the UFC fighter in the octagon, I am going to look at these metrics a lot more seriously. Even if there's not a ton of it, I'm still going to look at it. So that's going to bring us to our first one. You'll see in my picks, Sean Strickland. We already know what that's all about. I just like the plus 175. He was minus 130 close in his last fight against DDP, and he's now a plus 175. It's strictly a value play. He lost a split decision. It is the momentum with DDP. Does he have that confidence that he already beat him? Yes, yes, and yes. However, for me, with it being that close, and now we have a potential for a 1-1 with a trilogy matchup, no one has fought DDP as well as Sean Strickland, and it's not close. DDP has gotten everyone else out of there, and Strickland went to war with him. And I know people talk shit about Strickland, and they say this, that, and the other about how he's boring and this and that, but his style is effective, and he beat up DDP's eye, and DDP headbutted him, and he was bleeding out of the eye. I mean, there's factors here where you give me almost 100 points of value from the last fight, and I'm taking it all day. So there's that one. The Justin Tafa, we've seen a lot of Tafa, but not so much of Taliesin Teixeira. I'm taking the veteran here. I think it's a huge step up in competition, and Teixeira took damage in his Dana White Contender Series fight. So give me the veteran here. Now, I want to go into the rest of them because I have 2 units on Tafa. I have 2 units on Strickland. But the other ones, my recommendation for this card is we are going to be a little bit more cautious. We're going to kind of spread out a variety of 1-unit bets on some of these underdogs where I see a lot of value if the metrics are correct. If they're not, then there is no value. We get crushed. That's fine. At least we only lose 1 unit, or 1.5 in the case that I'm going to bring up. So let's go over the first one here. Bruna Brazil versus Kong Wang. So Kong Wang in her last fight got beat by, and we can check it out up here, Gabriela Fernandez by technical submission. Gabriela Fernandez is ranked lower than Bruna Brazil. Gabriela Fernandez was a plus 800 in that fight. The fight was very competitive, and Kong ends up getting beat. So for me, to even justify, after losing that fight, to justify a minus 450, that needs to be like a blip on the radar, and there needs to be multiple other fights where Kong Wang has showed that she is high level, beating high level competition. But if we look here, she beat Victoria Leonardo. Okay. We all know what that is. That means nothing. Victoria Leonardo can't beat anybody in the UFC. She doesn't belong in the UFC. She's tough, but she doesn't belong in the UFC. And then we got Paula Luna, that she won a submission. 5-3, Paula Luna. That's it. That's all we got. And then she gets a loss. So to lay, like, always think about with a bet, are you comfortable laying minus 450 on the other side? Or are you comfortable laying plus 325, plus 350 on Bruna Brazil? Bruna Brazil, in her last fight, beats Molly McCann in a unanimous decision, 30-27 a lot of the way through. Loses to Loma Lombumki, which her name's different here, 29-28 unanimous decision, and beats Shauna Bannon. Every single one of those fighters is significantly better than anyone that Kong Wang has beat or lost to. So to me, there is there's obviously the eyeball test. People love Kong Wang. She looks great. She styles. She's got skills, but she's not necessarily proven. And so to have a minus 452 price tag on someone who's not proven, to me, is a bad bet. So Bruna Brazil, ELO K170, ELO modified, Glico 1, WHR, every metric has her close to 70%, greater than 100 points on each of these compared to Kong Wang. And just for that, give me the plus 325. I got it at plus 325. 1.5 units to win, 4.75 units. So this is my middle play. I have a couple of 2-unit bets, and I have a couple of 1-unit bets. This is the 1.5 unit bet, just solely off of this is my largest value play of the night. Per my betting analytics model, which combines this and a few other factors, this is 22 percentage points of value on Bruna Brazil. I cannot pass that up. Even if she gets starched, even if she loses a decision, doesn't matter. I cannot pass up that type of value. So I'm taking Bruna Brazil at plus 325, 1.5 units to win 4.75. So I have Rong Zhu versus Cody Steele. Cody Steele, a minus 239. That line actually got up to a minus 250. Rong Zhu got up to a plus 205. That has come down. I got him at a plus 195. But Rong Zhu here, based on the metrics, is higher in every metric we have by about 100 points. Why is that? Cody Steele, coming off his Contender Series win, he's 7-0, but has not really fought anyone. Even his Contender Series win was someone coming off of short notice. So he came in there, got the win, got the knockout against Chason Blair in the second round. But what I noticed in that fight is he definitely is open to take damage. And what is Rong Zhu's probably his number one attribute is his ability to use his power, sit down on punches, get knockouts. So to me, this is just Cody Steele, untested, getting a big number, and the metrics are all showing Rong Zhu. So 1 unit to win 1.95 units because I got him at plus 195. And that's the bet. Just strictly a value play. I don't feel like super confident, but if the ones I feel confident, Tafa is probably my top one. Strickland's a value play. I do feel confident on. This is one that I don't feel confident on, but I'm getting 2-1 and I'm getting value. Similar to Bruna Brazil. She's a 1.5 because it shows the most value, but Rong Zhu is up there in value. I have this close to 50-50 and we're getting 2-1. So give me Rong Zhu here at plus 195 or better. It's currently at plus 170. So shop your lines, get the best possible one. All right, the last bet I have on the card so far, and I'm going to go into some that maybe we'll dive into, but they are not official plays. But this is an official play. Tom Nolan, plus 130. Lines come down, but it's going back and forth versus Slava Claus. So in this circumstance, again, I'm going with the metrics. Tom Nolan, this is probably my most accurate metric, the WHR. Giving him 50% chance, give me the plus money on it. No matter which way you slice it up, we got 65, 68, 59%. So the metrics like Tom Nolan, there's a higher upside on Tom Nolan. He has the reach advantage, which he'll always have the reach advantage. But I just think that if Slava Claus is the plus 130, I'm probably taking Slava. Tom Nolan being the plus 130, I'm taking him. To me, there's a 50-50 flip. I'm going to collect the value in the middle. If this line gets out of control, I'm going to put another unit on it. But for now, we're going 1 unit to win 1.3 units on Tom Nolan, strictly based on metrics here. I think this is a very close fight. We know what we're going to get. We're going to get a striking battle. That does favor Slava Claus, but I do think that there is an element of Tom Nolan and his game that we haven't quite seen yet. He's still relatively new, but he's had his experience in the UFC. And so this will be a test for him. Will he jump up? Also, it's in Australia. Tom Nolan being from Australia, there's going to be a home crowd advantage there. And in a close fight, will we see the judges be swayed by the crowd? Maybe. So give me Tom Nolan here at plus 130. I wouldn't take it at plus 116. I like to have a little bit more value in that. But if we get back up to the plus 130, plus 150 range, I'm going to put another unit on Tom Nolan. All right, this is one that I'm probably going to stay off, but I did want to dive into it a little bit, as I would definitely, if I had to place a bet, I'll tell you which side I'm going to place it on. So we have here Gabriel Santos versus Jack Jenkins. For me, This plus 191, which I'm seeing plus 190, that line is too good, meaning this should be closer than what it's currently at. Now, if we look at the advanced metrics, Gabriel Santos leads in all of them. His WHR especially, which I found surprising. Usually, these numbers are a lot higher. The Glico 1, the ELO modified, the ELO K170. WHR way up there, 200 points on Jack Jenkins. So this gives me a lot of pause with these advanced metrics. However, with it being in Australia, Jack Jenkins has performed well in the UFC. They're both somewhat unknowns, but they're at that stage where it's like, who's going to break out first? I could see Jack Jenkins taking this fight. However, based on everything I'm seeing here, I'm staying off for now unless this line here gets much, much better. Currently, I have about 5 percentage points of value on Jack Jenkins. The line should be closer to be minus 190, minus 180 for Santos, plus 150 for Jenkins. If it goes the other way and we see at fight time a ton of money come on Santos, because that looks like a good parlay piece, then we will probably pull the trigger, put a unit on Jack Jenkins at plus 205, plus 210, 215, in that range. We'll see what happens. Could go the other way. We'll see what the public thinks, but I definitely would not bet on Gabriel Santos at this current line. I don't see value. This is maybe the most intriguing fight that I have had the most difficulty pulling the trigger on, despite every indication telling me I should. And this is Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. This line opened up Weili Zhang a minus 190 and has moved all the way down to a plus 105 this morning. It's moved back to minus 105. So we're essentially a pick'em here. I have myself, Weili Zhang, 57% chance of winning based on my metrics. We go in here and we look at all of the advanced metrics have Weili Zhang. 54%, 69%, 69%, 75%. Okay, so every single commentator, person who knows the fight game, ex-fighters, betting personalities that I follow, they all pick Tatiana Suarez. This is the consensus pick. Everyone is writing off Weili Zhang. However, they all admit that there's going to be a very tough fight. To me, what I see here is there's a little bit of everyone has just agreed. There's this trope, this meme out there. Tatiana Suarez is the champion. Well, no, she's not. And she is an incredible fighter who has never lost, but she's not the champion. So I get it. We're in the game of predictions, and everyone is saying she is the champion. She's just uncrowned. Okay, maybe. But to be the champion, you have to beat the champion. And Weili Zhang is one of the great champions that we have. So for me, here's what I'm looking at. I am going to most likely place a bet on Weili Zhang based on value. However, I am going to continue to wait out this line because if I don't get the line I want, I won't place the bet. Because it's a 50, this is really a 50-50 coin flip. So if we get up to a plus 120, a plus 125 on Weili Zhang, I will for sure put a unit or two on Weili Zhang because this may be one of those fights where all the metrics are correct and the line is moving because everyone, based on their eyes, has said, yes, Tatiana Suarez is the champ. She's better. She's going to get the win. I can see her path to victory. I can see how she does it. I get it. And that's why normally I'd be hammering Weili Zhang. But in this circumstance, this may be one of those moments where Tatiana Suarez is just that good. However, if you give me a plus 120, give me Weili Zhang all day. So I'm going to wait out that line. We'll see where it goes. But for sure, I'm not betting Tatiana Suarez at the worst possible line. If I would have got her at a plus 175 and the line opened, good for me. I could even play back, make the money. But let's talk about reality. Right now, she's favored. So I'm not betting her as a favorite, and I'm leaning Weili Zhang just solely based off metrics.